Hey everyone, welcome back to Open. It's officially the fall season and, well, what we would also consider officially flu season. And many people are looking to eat healthier, especially having to endure this pandemic we're still dealing with. Our next guest is a mother of three with one on the way, a chef, entrepreneur, health advocate, and owner of Divine Appetite, a platform she's been able to create and lead successful community food justice initiatives since 2016. She's been offering free food education training to many local residents, and well, she's here joining us today to give us some nutritional tips for the fall. Please welcome Chef Marilyn. Hi, Chef Marilyn.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
That was a long introduction because I want everybody to get the gist of all the hats you're wearing. And I did mention that you have one on the way. Can we see your little belly there? Let me see. How far along are you? Woo! Look at you.
6 months.
6 months. And so I gotta say, we're in a place where at this point we need to arm ourselves. And the fact that you've chosen this path, which I mentioned prior to getting on air, it for me stands out as using health as your form of resistance. Let's elaborate a little further on how it is that you, I guess, got into diving into this so deeply, because it seems like this is your life. You eating, breathing, I mean, literally eating, but everything about your world revolves around this. So let's talk a little bit about how you were able to enhance your knowledge within using food as healing medicine.
So it's a very personal journey, because as a chef working in kitchens, I wasn't really learning how to eat healthy, just how to eat shiny, how to make things look exquisite. And I myself was infertile. I had polycystic ovary syndrome. I had epilepsy. I had all these ailments, and I'm popping pills, and I'm in my 20s, and I'm like, okay, I cannot enter my 30s. It was my goal. Like when I turned 30, 2008, I'm going to change. I'm not going to be on any meds. And so that's how the journey began, doing research, which Googling and research was a lot different. It was more like library time.
Right.
So I just started doing my own research outside of cooking in the kitchen, and I started implementing that in my meals, in my sauces, and finding out ways to make things in a more natural, raw way, how to make fresh butter. Like, oh, so if I get fresher, if I eat certain things at certain times a year, they'll be fresher because I'm from the Bronx, you know what I mean?
Right.
We about the ruler of food scarcity, you know? So I didn't have the access to it. So
Right.
I had to really educate myself outside of my community, and then navigate my own community on how to make that happen. So.
Right. So I just want to acknowledge you for exactly the description you gave us in the research work that it entailed, because back then there was no Google, and then poof, the information was there. There was, I'm going to take the time to go to the library. I'm going to take the time to buy this book. I'm going to take the time to figure out how it is that I'm going to obtain this information. And now you're paying it forward or passing it forward by offering it to the community. So first question, are you med free?
Yes, I am.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Yes, I am 100% medication free. I have not been on medication since 2008. I met that goal, and I'm so excited about it, because I don't like to shame anyone that is on meds. But when we set a goal, I'm an example of someone who's having seizures since I was a preteen. So I know what it's like to walk around and feel like I'm not well, and it's so uncomfortable. It's disheartening to your spirit, to how you feel about yourself. So it's okay to just say, let me take a little leap, you know, and try a new route.
So aside from that condition, what I just picked up was that you're referencing the anxiety that you're walking around with. So are there any remedies that you can offer for anxiety? Because I know a lot of people are dealing with anxiety right now during this time. Like, are there any scents or food or herbs, or, I mean, aside from the fact that we do need to discuss things that we can implement into our diets to build our immune system. But let's talk a little bit about anxiety before we talk about the immune system.
So the first thing I would say is to first make a decision. Because I tell you, people go online, they try all this stuff, they empty out their refrigerator and they back like, yeah, I went to the chicken spot. You know what I mean? Not knocking the chicken spot. I'm knocking the chicken spot. Yes, I am. But I'm just saying, I'm not knocking fried chicken. I'm just knocking the chicken spot. Okay. So I say first, just sit with yourself. That's what I had to do to see why. Not for vanity, not for pressure, but the why for yourself. And then once you go to the next level, something as simple as cilantro, that's in all our neighborhoods. You know, cilantro is extremely high in vitamin C, which is great for the endocrine system, which is great for the digestive system, which does what? It calms our hormones, because most of our hormones is right up in that belly, right? And guess what? Cilantro is also anti-convulsant. Like, you would never, like, no one tells you that. And we up in the kitchen chopping up our cilantro, living our best life. But instead of just throwing it when you just have your sofritos or you have your salad, let's just eat it raw. Throw it in a cup of water. You spoke of lemon water before in our earlier conversation. How about we just throw some cilantro inside there and just feel what that herb is, smell what that herb is.
So I want to make sure that we get in our conversation before this segment is over that you also design, you have these smoothies that you create, but really what stood out for me about the smoothies that you're making is that you do them seasonally according to the fruits that are in season, right? I noticed you had one with apples. This is apple picking season, and the consciousness of making sure that the finances stay locally. So let's talk about that really quickly, because they're like, oh, we're running out of time, and I'm like, no, we need to educate our community.
Yes, this right here is a smoothie. It doesn't, so the regular eye is like, ooh, that looks a little weird, but this is apples, pears. I put a little bit of lavender in there, another calming for anxiety, right? And I have a mix of my herbs. This is a blend of herbs. This one right here is called Elation, and it's a calming of the mood, balancing our mood. And we have things like nettle in there. You have fresh lavender in there. And now everyone doesn't have access to those extra things, but you do have access to pear, which is high in fiber. Pears are extremely high in fiber. They're high in vitamin C. They're great for your bone health. Anything that has a white inside is good for the bones. It has calcium. So now you do, instead of your apple a day, I got an apple a day and a pear a day up in there.
Right, and those additional ingredients, the lavender, like where would people buy them? Like where do you get them?
You can now see if I know this is a Bronx show, so I'm just going to slowly keep shining the light on y'all, because there's very few health food stores, but you can find one in a health food store, and you need to advocate with your local community board to say, I want to see more health food stores, because I'm sure there's people who want to open them, but you can go right on Amazon or online. But of course, I had to start with what's in the neighborhood that we're going to walk around and get
right
online. But you also can order it at divineappetite.com on my website and get you the blends already blended in a healthy way to drop up in your smoothie.
Oh, that's what's up. That was a good plug. But before we go, you're also offering classes, which they can also find on your website, right?
Yes. I offer cooking classes. I also work with organizations who hire me to teach the community, basically a food educators course. And I've worked with their staff who want to get a serve safe or a safe handlers certificate from New York City, who want to be able to have these conversations with clients when they come sit with them, to teach them how to boost their immunity. This is what I do because it matters. All of us play a role in passing on this message. And I want to say again, it's not about vanity. It's not about how we look on the outside, but it's about the longevity of who we are on the inside.
That's right. It's about using food as medicine. That's the consciousness that we're opening up in today's discussion. Thank you for being with us, Chef Marilyn, everyone. And once again, if you want to participate in Chef Marilyn's fall soup cooking classes, soup, my fave, you can visit divineappetite.com and check her out on Instagram. You'll have a real fun time going through her videos. And that's Marilyn, at Marilyn The Chef. That's at Marilyn The Chef on Instagram. You guys don't go anywhere because Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.